Hey everybody, I'm here with a quick update on the Diddy trial, day 8. So listen, they've been through 11 witnesses, and one of their witnesses, one of this 11 is this psychiatrist who is coming up to tell us and to explain, I guess, to the jury, the people in the gallery, and anybody else who might need to know why victims stay with their abusers. This woman is getting paid a lot of money per hour, per day, and she's coming up to give an insight to those who may need to know as to why Cassie perhaps stayed in such a horrific, uh, 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 degrading, deplorable situation with Diddy. Now, listen, if you ask Diva, the prosecution is doing a piss poor job in trying to hit it home about these RICO charges. How are you on witness number 11? Somewhere between 1 and 5, you should have hit the bullseye and had us mainly connecting 100% to these RICO charges. And to this moment, all they have us connected to is that this was definitely a DV situation. And now they bring this psychiatrist up to hit the bullseye to me for the defense team. The defense team in their opening arguments, they stated clearly, listen, we ain't even going to shy away from this. This was a DV situation, but it ain't RICO. And that was just my little paraphrase. And then the prosecution, they want us to believe that victim number 1, who is Cassie Ventura, was in a situation that she could not leave because she was coerced and she is a part of a ST ring ran by Diddy. So you got to answer me this. Why would you bring a psychiatrist to come up to tell us why victims don't leave their abusers? You're connecting to the thought process that the defense is saying that this was just a couple in a DV situation. But that's not what you want us to believe, because you got RICO charges to make people believe happen here. You told us, meaning the prosecution, y'all told us that this was victim number 1 in the ST ring ran by Diddy. Well, of course, anybody that is ST, they can't just leave. They're on lockdown, they're coerced, they're this, they're that. So why are you acting as if a ST victim could leave? And the reason why she connected with this person and didn't leave, either she was forced to do everything and forced to stay, or she had the opportunity to leave. Which one is it? So I guess you want us now to lead towards she did have the opportunity to leave, but this is the reason why she didn't leave. Well, then how was she coerced to stay? Which one is it? Y'all can't have us all over the place. Let me go ahead and share a screen so we can get more into the story. So Diddy trial. Why victim stays with abusers? The psychiatrist testifies. So prosecutors are calling an expert witness in the Diddy trial a clinical and forensic psychiatrist who is telling the jury about why victims stay in abusive relationships, how they cope, the obstacles they face in leaving, and how their memories are affected by trauma. So they're letting her, they brought her also, I guess, to say that, listen, there might be holes in Cassie's story. There might be holes in Don Richard's story. There might be holes in David James' story. But the reason why they're holes is because they're all affected by trauma. So if your client, if your witness is affected by trauma, then how can I sit there and believe any word that is coming out her mouth or his mouth when they're traumatized and don't remember the truth? Or don't remember exactly what happened. So you want me to convict a client, the defendant over there, off of some blurry memories? How is this woman helping the prosecution if you really got a thought process? If you ask me, that's diva thoughts. So Don Hodges, God bless her. Listen, honey, she raking in the dough. Took the stand Wednesday morning as the 11th witness called by the feds. Prosecutors are presenting her as an expert witness who specializes in trauma and traumatic stress. Hodges told jurors it's quite common for victims to remain in abusive relationships, explaining there's all sorts of mechanisms that make victims feel trapped and is not just reserved to physical violence. She testified sexual abuse makes it hard for victims to leave relationships or seek help because of the private nature of the abuse. She says they often feel shame, humiliation, degradation, and they don't want to talk about it with others, much less think about it. Finances are another hurdle. Well, we're going to X out the finances, and I'm going to tell you why Diva's Xing out the finances. Because when Cassie went to her parents and told her parents that Diddy was allegedly threatening to put out the sex tapes unless she paid money, the parents took out a second mortgage to get that money to stop said alleged tapes from coming out. So if you can go to your parents and say, listen, he's about to do this and I need the money or else he's going to put a tape out. You could have went to your parents. This is Diva Thoughts. Y'all can get mad if y'all want. You could have went to your parents and said, listen, I'm in this abusive situation. I don't have a dime to my name. Everything, every penny I have, he gives to me. I need to leave. If they could take out a second mortgage to stop a tape from coming out, surely they would have gave you the money to get out of said relationship. Diva Thoughts. Y'all let me know yours, okay? Who just testified sometimes takes multiple attempts for victims to finally leave an abusive relationship, and there's a pattern of returning and reconciling. She said some victims feel they may come back to the good version of their partner who they still love. So again, this is helping the defense, right? Who said this was a relationship gone bad. This has nothing to do with nobody being trafficked. It has nothing to do with that. They said it was a relationship going bad. So she's saying partner. This is the psychiatrist, the same Diva talking. She's saying partner because you're going to go back to the good version of your partner. How do you have victim number one and the whole case is on Cassie's back? And shame on the prosecution for that. You said this is racketeering and your whole case is laying on Cassie back. It's too much for her to carry. And it was wrong for y'all to do that. But y'all did it, and now y'all got this disaster right here. So you said the good version of their partner. Was she a trafficking victim or was she his partner? And this was a bad situation. And I'm going to say this as respectfully as I can, with two crackheads or two drug addicts was drugging, drinking, carrying on, and wilding out. And the only difference between them and maybe two addicts that are on the street is they have money. She told the jury trauma bonds may form between the victim and the abuser, and that can make a victim have a tough time leaving because there's love and kindness attached to the abuse. He just testified victims will often develop coping mechanisms. Hold on one second. To deal with abuse and may numb themselves with drugs and alcohol. May numb themselves with drugs and alcohol. May numb themselves with drugs and alcohol. The way they were presented this is that everybody that took the drugs and alcohol, Diddy was pretty much forcing it down their throat. How is this lady helping the prosecution? I don't know, but y'all tell me if y'all see it differently to me. Hold on one second. She said it's common for victims to wait months or even years before telling anyone about the abuses they suffered. Well, many of her friends knew in real time because many of them suffered the abuse with her, according to her testimony and her friend's testimony. She told the jury victims' memories may be fragmented from trauma, and while they remember the gist or the core of abuse, they may not record every specific time or detail from when they were abused. Diddy defense attorney Jonathan then began cross-examining the Hughes, and he asked her about malingering and if people can fabricate emotional responses, and Hughes replied, they can. Cassie's previous testimony about physical abuse she suffered at Diddy's hand, and she told the jury that she felt trapped in a relationship and that they had a few breaks before finally calling it quits. Others have testified they saw Diddy abuse her and that Cassie told them she couldn't leave because Diddy controlled her music career and paid for her home, car, and gave her an allowance. Again, though, it's interesting. The minute the tape was going to come out, you was able to go to mommy and daddy and say this was going to happen, and they put a second mortgage out on their home so the tape wouldn't come out. Could they not have put a second mortgage out on their home to get you out of this situation so you wouldn't need an allowance from him? You wouldn't need him to pay for your home or your car. Take the bus, the train, or walk. Prosecutors are using Hughes' expert testimony to explain and contextualize some of Cassie's testimony about how she behaved during her relationship with Diddy. Diddy's defense team hasn't shied away from the domestic violence stories, but they claim there was DV on both sides. Worth noting, Hughes testified for the government. Testified the government is paying her $600 an hour, and she's getting $6,000 for her day in court. She was previously hired by Amber Heard in the Johnny Depp trial and is expected to testify in the Harvey Weinstein retrial, also in New York. Listen, do I have to go get my therapy certificate? $6,000 in one day, $600 an hour. I'm not mad at her. I'm mad at the prosecution for not thinking this thing out right. Remember, she testified for Amber Heard. Amber Heard lost her case. Listen, people. Let me be clear to y'all. I'm a woman myself. I got nieces. I got sisters. I got girlfriends. This situation was horrific. Horrific. But when we are talking about RICO charges, you got to stay the course. You got to give us the information that supports the charges that you have before you. Why? Because when you send that jury off, they can't be confused, because 1 ounce of confusion is reasonable doubt for them to say not guilty. Prosecution, I got to ask you, do y'all want a guilty verdict? Or do y'all want to just get through this trial and say y'all did the best y'all could with what Damien left y'all with? He left y'all with a hot, disastrous mess. I said it and I can't say it enough. When they raided their home, they thought they was going to hit the lottery. And instead, they got a winning ticket that said $50. Okay, they thought they was going to hit the mega or the Powerball for $350 million. And they got in there and they saw shoes, lingerie, baby oil that didn't have nothing in it but the ingredients of the baby oil, lubricant, and substances. And not even enough substances where you could say he was selling it himself. Because if it was that much, y'all would have said it. Y'all would have said he had enough to distribute to sell. But he didn't. And so now, and then y'all talk about the weapons that y'all collected from there. I haven't been in no gangster house, but I'm willing to bet that gangsters got way more pow-pows in their house than they found in that raid, and that was a mansion. And you want to know something too, unfortunately? Because the streets are mean right now, especially in New York. I'm sure there's other places, in places in Jersey. The streets are mean. These low-level gangsters got more weapons in their apartment than Diddy had in the mansion. And no, this is not about, Diva wants Diddy to get off. This is about justice and you having the evidence. They would have been better off not arresting him until they had a whole solid full of evidence. But you know what? They got punked. Because the people kept saying, you raided his homes in March. When are you going to get him? And so they got him in September. When they picked him up, they ain't had much. And that's why they had to raid the hotel room again. And that's why the hotel room evidence is part of this trial. But see, that's Diddy's fault. That's Diddy and his lawyer fault. Zoe should have made sure that room was spotless. All he had was the soap he used to wash his body, deodorant, and some toothpaste, and the prescription medications. But no, he had all kind of other stuff in there. But listen, guys, chat with me in the comments, and when I get an opportunity, I will chat back. If you're not a subscriber, subscribe. Hit the notification bell so that every time I upload a video, you will be notified. If you are a subscriber, welcome back. Everybody, thanks for watching. Let me know your thoughts on the psychiatrist talking. She's talking about a DV situation, and I think they slammed that home. That's a slam dunk for them all day long with the prosecution. Slam dunk. Y'all got it. We get it. It was DV. We understand that. We need y'all to get to the RICO charges. Thanks for watching. Hit the like button. I'll see you in the next video.